So new construction or original hardwoods with the charmer interior, which one's going to work for you and your plans to list or buy? And that's going to just depend on what your plan is, right? So the biggest thing, I think we should tackle new builds first. New builds, a lot of people are saying, well, one, sometimes they can't buy it to lease out because HOA says maybe you have to own it for so long first before it can be a rental property. So you got to check that.
There's a lot of, make sure you review your covenants.
Yes.
Because some of them make you have a 6-month lease, a 1-year lease, some of them 2-year lease.
Yep. But I've also seen you have to own it for a certain amount of time before you can even turn it into a rental property.
Also, they have percent of the neighborhood.
Yep. If it's capped or not.
Restrictions. Usually that's like 15%.
And you're paying a premium for a new construction home.
Yes.
So sometimes the cash flow may not work unless you're putting a lot down. But what do you get for that? You get a lot for that.
Well, on the rental side, with the new construction, you're getting a newer house.
Mm-hmm.
You're typically under a builder's warranty. So if something does happen, you call the builder, they fix it for free.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Most of the time. No absolutes here. Contact your attorney.
It's lower maintenance.
Right.
So typically you're looking at a lower maintenance
Yes.
problem. So usually the new constructions are just get a rent check, monthly rent check. You don't have any issues.
But you are dealing with smaller lots as well.
Depends on the neighborhood.
Yes. They are usually energy efficient, which can be really helpful for a tenant that's paying on utilities. And then builder delays if you're trying to build and it's taking longer to build out, but that's usually a short-term concern for new builds. Now, if you're purchasing, I love purchasing new builds to live in as well because of all of those reasons, especially for first-time home buyers that just don't really know what they're getting themselves into with a house. Usually new construction is the best way to go because we can get a really good rate usually. Everything is brand spanking new, even if it's only a couple years old and still considered kind of a new construction. Mm-hmm. We love buying those because it's a great process. But a lot of times buyers don't realize they still need to work with a realtor to purchase them because the builder has a sales agent that represents the builder and not the person walking in the door. It's like when you go to buy a car at a car lot, that guy is not there to help you get a car. They're helping to get money in their pocket and make their boss happy.
Right.
Same thing when you walk into a new construction place.
Yes.
They can be really, really nice and really great. We like to partner with some really great salespeople, but they're still salespeople and they don't have a representation with you.
Don't cut out the middleman.
Don't cut it out. Especially we can negotiate a little bit more, get you some different things, and just find out whether or not it can be rented out or leased out or all that future stuff. So
you can get packages.
Yes.
Where you get bonus pack.
All
maybe
the
you get granite or you get
and
hardwood
then,
or whatever.
Insurance is usually cheaper on a new construction as well because they anticipate less risk with it as well. When life hits hard, late payments, medical bills, job loss, or even the need to move quickly, many homeowners feel trapped. The fastest way out seems to be selling to a cash investor, but that means giving your home away for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to do that. Nearly half of homeowners today are equity rich, and that value belongs to you. With our One Move program, you can unlock that equity immediately, get cash in hand now, and still share in the upside when your home resells. Or, if you'd rather, we'll shop your property to multiple cash buyers so you can choose the best offer instead of settling for one low bid. Go to donedealoffers.com and discover the smarter way to get cash fast without losing the equity you've worked so hard to build.
To those who take the risk, who bet their life savings, their blood, sweat, and tears on a rental property to make a nice place for someone to live and a nice living for themselves. To those who get this call or no call at all. To those who keep adding more properties, it will all be worth it. for you and for them. You care about preserving your investments. So do we. Real Property Management.
So then you look at older homes, usually on larger lots, right? They've got some character, which can be good or bad, depending on the type of character. Mature trees. People love mature trees.
Yep.
You know who also loves mature trees? Foundation guys, when they have to redo your foundation all the time. So there's always a trade-off with the neighborhood. You want mature trees, you're probably going to get your foundation repaired at some point or another. Plumbing.
Our number one problem with older houses is the tree roots getting into the
cast iron.
The cast iron.
And what cast iron was
sewage lines.
Usually, I think 1980s and older. They kind of were switching them out around that time. So very important to get a plumbing inspection if you're going to even to live in it or rent it out. You want to get a plumbing inspection to make sure
pay the extra to get that.
Because here's a great story. We just had we got a house we're getting on the market, built in 1978. We were told by the owner they had a whole home repipe done, which means all the cast iron should be redone. So we had the foundation repaired because it didn't need to be done. Foundation is repaired. All of a sudden we have slab leaks, and we're going, why would we have slab leaks if we're all PVC? And we scope it, and the main sewer line was not connected properly by the first company, and so it just busted off. And then come to find out, it only went about 8 feet into the main sewer line, and then it became cast iron again. So they did a partial repair, not a full. And when we came and brought our plumber in to redo it, they found about 60% of the plumbing was still cast iron, and only 40% had been put to PVC. And the crazy part is, they spent just as much money the first time as they did the second time. And we did go back to the first company to see if they'd come back and just, since they'd already been there before, and work on it. The quote was so sky high. I cannot believe. I want to say their name so bad, but I'm not going to because I'm sure I'll get in trouble for it. But the amount of highway robbery that happens with some plumbers, just because they can pay to advertise doesn't mean they're a good plumber.
Right.
For sure. And so you want to make sure, even if because that seller told us, we had the whole home redone. They don't know what actually happened or not.
Probably didn't know.
They had no idea. They had no clue. And so you definitely have to get it scoped, regardless of whether they say it was done or not, because you just don't know.
Right.
You don't know unless they run a video, which the new plumber ran a video of the hole underneath the house after they trenched it to show us all the PVC around the house. It was amazing. So that was huge. And then you said second thing is electrical.
Electrical. Make sure on the old houses, they may not be up to the electrical codes.
And if you start doing updates, you have to bring everything to code.
You may have to rewire the entire house.
And that's not cheap to do.
That's very, very expensive.
Yes. Because they're going behind walls. Sometimes they're having to rip out some walls when they do that. It's not a clean process. Okay. And then the next kind of third thing, you said code, just general code.
General codes. Renters codes is totally different than new construction codes or builder codes. We have things that, like, you need to have fire extinguisher installed. You need to have smoke alarms in all the bedrooms.
And a lot of them don't have that when they're older homes.
They don't have them.
Because it was grandfathered in and they didn't have to touch it. And there's so many homeowners that become accidental landlords, and they're like, we'll just slap this up on XYZ website, put it up for rent, we'll get a landlord, or we'll get a tenant in place and we'll be fine. And they're missing all these steps. And it's not a problem till it's a problem.
What I tell my owners, we got to do this because if something does happen, somebody kicks in the door, somebody gets raped, somebody gets shot, anything could happen.
Yep.
When you go to court, yes or no, did you have this
in place?
And if you do, then you're not necessarily out of hot water, but at least
you're not negligent in that whole because you definitely
these are all safety issues.
Correct.
And you want to make sure your tenant's as safe as possible.
And you can't control what happens on the outside world. You can only just do the best homework you can. And so if you just think you can just slap it on the internet and say it's for rent and you're going to move out and they're going to move in, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into at that point. Older homes definitely have more upkeep to them, more maintenance to them for sure. So you have to take that into consideration.
You got to plan that. Make a budget. I always tell my owners, just in case your tenant doesn't pay rent, You can still make a mortgage payment. Make sure you have at least 1 or 2 months mortgage in the bank so that you can cover that. Also, for air conditioning goes out or hailstorm, you need to pay for a roof.
Most lenders, if you're going to go purchase an investment property, they want to see like 6 months in reserves along with your down payment, all the other things to purchase. So they're looking for that anyway. So you might start just putting that together.
We don't have to look at that. So that's good knowledge.
That's what they want. They want 20% down, and then they want to see 6 months. Right. Well, now that could be in like your 401k or somewhere. It doesn't have to be straight cash, but they're going to want to see that more or less to lend on it. And if you want to buy an older home and live in the older home because you do want the charm, you do want the larger lot, you want the mature trees, you have to have the same sort of money in reserves or accounted for because you're going to come across it. It doesn't matter whether your tenant's coming across it or you're coming across it, you're going to have to pay for it one way or the other. So you want to make sure you're prepared for that. A lot of times our process when we work with buyers is, okay, what do you have? Do you understand if you were to renovate this kitchen, you would have to bring everything else to code that it touches. Do you have that kind of budget? Because they're going, everybody gets the HGTV where they're like, I'm going to walk through and I'm going to take this wall down and I'm going to do this and do that. And I was on Instagram and this person did this and I watched them do the whole video and went to Lowe's and did it myself. It's like, yeah, but when you go to resell that later, they're going to want to make sure everything, the inspector is going to find what you didn't do right. And nobody's saying you can't do all that stuff, but you just got to be prepared to have it fixed at some point because someone's going to catch it.
Right. And the big thing with rentals, make sure you remember this is a rental.
Yes.
This is not HGTV.
Yeah. You don't want to over-improve a rental property.
It's a nice to have, but not a need to have.
Yep.
So be careful of overspending because we get a lot of owners that they go crazy on the renovation.
They make it all super cute, but they can only get so much in rent.
They figure out quickly that, hey, I really didn't need that.
Yep.
That
usually
was wasted money.
They want decent paint, some decent flooring, probably updated fixtures on faucets and lights, and a good curb appeal, and you're probably pretty good to go.
Yep.
Keep your property code things that you need to do all figured out. So then, what's going to perform best? We've talked about what renters prioritize are just the function of it and the price. Like, does it have 4 bedrooms and does it hit my budget? Is it the right size? Does it have stairs or not have stairs? That's what they're looking at. Buyers are looking for a lifestyle and they're looking for, the condition. Does the condition meet the price I'm about to pay for this property? Or can I put in money? I can buy it for less and bring it to the condition I want to bring it to because I want to maybe renovate, which is fine. So it's just kind of knowing, are you going to be the buyer or are you going to have renters in your property and picking the right path? Overall, we both kind of like new construction. New construction, but the problem is new construction's way far out, right? It's way out in the wings of the Metroplex right now. Which isn't bad because those are little communities popping up and people still take their kids to school and work in those areas.
But you may be paying a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's it. If you try to get a new construction closer to the city, they're very expensive. And they're usually small and they're probably townhomes anyways, which I think those are pretty difficult to rent out with HOAs. And their monthly HOA is just really hard. So I feel like cash flow, it's really hard to make it make sense on a townhome with today's rates, prices, and HOA fees. Which I feel the same way for buyers. It's really hard to find a townhome that makes sense for a buyer with all those as well. Usually you're kind of like a, single executive that needs a lock and leave lifestyle, makes really good money, but doesn't want any upkeep. Townhomes, condos work great for you, but you got a family with pets and all the things. It's not worth it.
It usually just depends on it. If you're retirees or if you're a new family or you're planning a family.
Yep.
I get a lot of calls from people, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, buy an investment, where they want to know what location, they want to know what city, where can I go find me a house to buy? I got money or I'm ready to spend. I tell them that anywhere you can get a good deal.
Right.
It's how good of a deal can you get? It may be a new construction. It may be an old house. But if you can get a good deal on it,
Yep.
We can make it work.
And one of the things that we're kind of pushing on our end is we are working to attract sellers who do need to sell because they might be distressed in some sort of way. And by us partnering together, we can pair them with an investor who is looking for that good deal, but still not have it be like where the seller's losing out completely. We're just matching up buyers and sellers at that point for the investment. So that's another great thing that we can offer by working through us is you've got plenty of investors that are looking for it, and I've got plenty of sellers that are in tight situations because life changes, and they're trying to figure out what their options are, and we can bring them the whole menu of options and say, let's pick the one that fits best for you and your family.
Right.
So, okay, well, I think that wraps up kind of which works. It really, like we always say, it comes down to what you want to do with your plan and your goals and your situation.
You got to know what you want to do. I mean,
there's no easy button to this. You got to do a little bit of homework first.
There's no right or wrong. You just got to figure out what you want to do.
That's true.